Hi and welcome back to Trev's Travels by Narrowboat. I want to thank everybody that took part in last Saturday's quiz, and I have the results for you in a moment. I just want to thank everybody who actually looked at it and did not take part as well. I hope you enjoyed it. It was just for a bit of fun. I actually we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people that answered the quiz. And the results are very, very close. And here are the results right now coming up. Well, here are the answers. Now, for reference purposes, it is a bit controversial on some of the answers. I've used the CRT's website for the answers. I know that some of the answers are slightly different if you have a Pearson's book or a Nicholson's guide. But I've actually used the answers from the CRT website, so those to me are the answers are final. But as I say, it was just for a bit of fun, and it was quite amazing actually on one of the answers on how many answers you could find if you searched the internet. Anyway, here are the answers. Answer number 1 was Hawkesbury Junction and Sutton Stop Lock. As long as you got the word Sutton in there, you're going to get the answer correct. And the answer to number 2 was Rose Narrowboats. I sort of had to include that one in there because my boat is next Rose Narrowboat hire boat. New Bowl Tunnel. Well, this one's got different answers all over the internet. But I asked you, what is the length of the tunnel as it says on the sign when you enter the tunnel? Now you can find pictures of this online, as I did, as I checked it out, but the answer is 189 metres, and it is in one of my videos at least. It may even be in 2 of my videos previous. Now the next one caught a few of you out. I asked how many locks are there at Hill Morton. Well, of course, to go through this set of locks, you need to go through 3 locks to actually get from top to bottom or bottom to top. But there are actually 6 locks at Hill Morton. There are 3 pairs of 2, and they are all numbered individually as well, because at Hill Morton you have lock 2 to lock 7. Lock 1 being Sutton Stop Lock, and if you carry on down the Oxford, and when you get to the next lock, which is Napton on the Hill starts at lock number 8. And the number locks at Hill Morton are numbered 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So that was 6. The answer to that was 6. Where does the Oxford Canal meet the Grand Union Canal heading south? Well, that is Braunston, quite a famous little village. Most people in the canal or network will know Braunston. Now I've got a couple of different answers for the next one. What is the famous building on top of the hill at Napton? Well, right basically on top of the hill, which you can see for miles in basically any direction, is the windmill, and that was the answer I was looking for. I did get the church as a couple of answers, but you cannot see the church coming from every direction, and really and truly until you're actually close, it's really difficult to see the church because it's hidden behind the trees. So the windmill was the building I was looking for. And of course, one of the famous pubs on the canals, the pub at the bottom of Napton Flight Lock, is the Folly. And we carry on now, we get down to Croppedy. And the famous battle which took part on Croppedy Bridge, the date of that battle was the 29th of June, 1644. Now I asked you what town has a famous cross in it, and of course the answer to that is Banbury Cross. And I did get a couple of rather unusual spellings of the word Banbury, but this is not a spelling competition, so as long as it was close enough, you got a point for it, or 2 points. Then we come on to the deepest lock on the Oxford Canal system, not obviously in the country, and that is of course Somerton Deep Lock, which is just south of Aynhoe. And very few of you picked up on the bonus question I put in on that lock, and that was, how deep is the lock? And the bonus question answer for that, for an extra point, is 12 foot deep, or 3.66 metres. Let's carry on down the canal, and where did I stop and turn around? Well, that was Lower Hayford. I'll give you a bit of a clue on that, giving you the lower part anyway, so it made it quite easy to find. And the answer to this question I've taken from the CRT website, and according to the CRT, the Oxford Canal is 75 miles long and has 46 locks on it. I assume they know how long their canals are and how many locks they have on their canal. I think there could be a bit of controversial here, where whether Duke's Cut is incorporated and such alike. Well, this is the official answer from the CRT. Well, that's all the answers from last week's quiz. So let's get on with the next one. Well, here we go then with quiz number 2. And the first question is, what is the name of the pub at lock number 3 on the Braunston flight? Number 2. Braunston Tunnel is famous for its kink in it. I want to know, what year was it opened? Sticking with Braunston, and this is for Braunston Tunnel and also Blisworth Tunnel, both which I do on this trip. If you're a wide beam boat navigating these tunnels, you have to book passage 48 hours in advance. What time of the day will you be allowed to travel through the tunnel? So that is, if you're a wide beam boat, after you've booked your passage, what time of the day will you be travelling through the tunnel? After negotiating the tunnel, another mile or so, you come to a junction. The junction is with the Leicester line of the Grand Union Canal. What is that junction called? Carrying on up the Leicester line, we come to a set of locks, some of which are staircase. How many lock chambers are there in total at Watford Locks? Shortly after, we come to the village of Crick. Now, Crick is quite famous for its tunnel, which is said to be haunted, if you believe in that sort of thing. But Crick these days is more famous for what? What goes on in the boater community that is famous at Crick every year? As we carry on up the Leicester line, we come to a junction which takes us up the Welford Arm. Now, the Welford Arm was originally built as a feeder arm, but it became commercially viable later on for goods to come up the Welford Arm. But what was exported out of the Welford Arm, and at one point in time there were 7 of these built. I just want to know the structures that were built at the end of the Welford Arm, and also what they produced which was exported back down the Welford Arm. Now, as we carry on to Foxton, and Foxton is very famous, of course, for its 2 sets of 5 staircase locks. These locks were actually built first and went into disrepair at one point in time, when another means was put in for raising boats from the lower level to the upper level, or vice versa. What was this means called for raising these boats from one level to the other, whilst the Foxton locks were in disrepair? Of course, the Foxton locks now have been restored a long time ago, and retook over from this other method. Now we're back onto the main line of the Grand Union Canal, and we've gone down the Buckby flight and the Wilton flight. Anyway, we carry on down and we come to Weedon-Beck. Weedon-Beck became used as a military ordnance back in the early 1800s. This was due to the Grand Union Canal being able to connect it quite easily between Weedon-Beck and London and various other places. And also Weedon-Beck being basically in the middle of the country, so it was one of the hardest places to get to. But what wars were they worried about an invasion from? So what was the wars that this ordnance was originally built, keeping the ordnance a long way away from London because of the worry of invasion? And what were these wars called? Now we carry on down the Grand Union Canal and we go through Blisworth Tunnel and come out the other side at Stoke Bruin. There's a couple of very big points of interest at the top of the flight of Stoke Bruin Locks. As we're heading down, on the right hand side there's a very old, very popular pub, and on the left hand side there is a museum. Now I want to know the name of the pub and what is the museum famous for. Now we've come back up the Grand Union Canal to the Northampton Arm, and we're heading down the Northampton Arm to Northampton. How many locks are there on the Northampton Arm? And some people call it a tunnel, or it's basically a long bridge between locks 12 and lock 13. You go under a motorway. What is the motorway we go under here? So it's a two-part question. How many locks and what motorway do we go under? When we leave the bottom lock on the Northampton Arm, what river do we join on to? That is, when we leave the bottom lock of the Northampton Arm, what river do we join on to? That is the last question. That is the 12th question in this quiz. There is a bonus question, and that is written at the bottom somewhere during the quiz. Well, I hope you enjoyed playing this quiz. As I say, it's for a bit of fun, and at the end of all the quizzes, as long as people keep playing, I will put up a little prize. I'm yet to guess it, but I will put up a little prize, and I will mail it out wherever you are. Whatever country you're in, I will post it to you. So anyway, thank you very much for playing. I really hope you enjoyed it. It gives you something to do if it's a cold, wet afternoon, like we've had a few recently, although at the moment it's gorgeous sunshine outside. I know last week I made the entrance up to Thursday, but leaving the entrance all the way up to Thursday means it doesn't leave me much time to actually sort everything out and get it done. I have to get everything done on the Friday. Well, I'd like to bring that forward a little bit because nobody actually entered the quiz after sort of Monday, Tuesday. So I want all the answers in this week, please, by Tuesday. So that gives me some time to actually edit and put together the answers without having to rush too much. You never know, I don't always have internet every day, although I do seem to have it fairly reasonable here since I've been moored up and changed my internet provider. So all answers in, please, by Tuesday. And it doesn't matter where you are really in the world, I will not be taking down the answers until Wednesday myself. So it gives everybody anywhere in the world basically a chance to answer up to Tuesday. I just got to say thank you very much to everybody that supports the channel, be it PayPal or via Patreon. It's just easy to say thank you very much for watching. Trevor out.